I need a nap. Hello internet, my name's Catherine and today I'm going to be talking about shame with you guys. Real quick, I wanted to apologize for not having a video out last week. I am currently in the process of trying to find a co-op for Northeastern, which if you know about Northeastern, you might know what a co-op is. If not, it's basically next semester I will be working a 9-to-5 professional job that I have to apply for, interview for, and everything, and it's a super incredible opportunity, but it is also one of these things that is very time consuming, so I have to really prioritize, the fact that I am a full-time student, I am searching for a job, I have a job where I walk a dog every single day after school, which takes up, time. I have a dog here living with me that I have to take care of. I'm in a relationship. so YouTube sometimes has to be something that moves to the back burner because I have things that immediately need to be done. So I wanted to apologize for that. But today I'm going to be talking about shame. This is another one of my Let's Get Real series. I have a couple videos about this. I really like these videos. I like videos where I can sit down and talk with you guys and just kind of have an open discussion. Let me know if you like them too. Let me know if you have any other Let's Get Real topics you want me to talk about. Yeah. I'm always super inspired by other artists and creators and platform makers and things like that, and one of my favorite poets, Olivia Gatwood, has this poem called Ode to My Bitch Face, and in the beginning of it she talks about shame, and I remember hearing that part of this intro to this poem and being like, oh my gosh, I have to make a video about this because this is incredible. She basically talks about how shame is something that we feel because we think we're supposed to, and it's not something that you're born feeling, which I think is a super important thing to talk about. People are happy and sad and they feel those emotions very regularly and naturally through life, whereas shame is something we're kind of taught to feel, and it's based on other people's perception of us. So shame, you can feel shame for yourself, but it tends to come from other people's view of you. Because you should be proud of the person that you are and the decisions that you're making and the things that you're doing. So it tends to be the way other people think you should be or the way you think other people are gonna want you to be, and this whole idea that makes us feel bad for living any part of our lives in the way that we do. So it can be, something physical, dressing the way we want, tattoos, piercings tend to be a big one, dyeing your hair, things like that. It can also be something that you just do. People feel a lot of shame for changing and for growing and evolving as people. You always hear that phrase oh, you've changed, as if it's this horrible thing to grow. People feel shame for their sexuality, sexual orientation, gender identity. People feel shame for, sometimes I feel shame in certain instances that apply to me for being a woman. I feel shame, there's a multitude and infinite amount of things that people can feel shame for. And I just kind of want to touch on those a little bit. Shame is something I have become very familiar with throughout my life. I have always been a person who is very comfortable just being me and doing what I want to do, and people don't always like that. I've always been very open, expressing my opinions, everything like that, and it's something that a lot of people don't understand and don't agree with, and I am okay talking about controversial things, and other people don't like that, and I've had a lot of people be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't talk about this, you shouldn't feel this, you shouldn't behave this way. When you're making a personal choice that doesn't affect anybody else, I've never understood why people can be so against them. When I dyed my hair, a lot of people were like, you know what people are gonna think, right? The connotation of people who dye their hair, right? As if, I don't know, what year do we live in? Is this, was it not 2018 when I dyed my hair? And I have tons of friends who dye their hair, and why is this such a big deal? And, there's this, there's this idea that if you dye your hair, you're more promiscuous, you're more easy or whatever, which I'm okay. And a big thing that I've learned in my life is to just not care what anybody else thinks. To an extent, obviously. Strangers, I don't care. Could not care about what a stranger thinks of me. Because are you gonna be around for the rest of my life? No. Do I know you and care about your personal opinion of me? Absolutely not. So I don't, when I express myself by dyeing my hair or piercing my nose, or in the future when I get tattoos, or, wearing clothes that I like or things like that, and if some people are like, oh, you know what people are gonna think? I don't know what people are gonna think. People could think great things, people could think negative things, people could think whatever they want to think, and I don't really care because I'm not gonna stop. And there's this idea that, I should feel shame for wanting to do something that's different than the norm. And it's almost like people are always saying, be yourself and shine and stand out. It's like something we learn growing up, and then we get to a certain point where we start to do that and we become more comfortable with ourselves, and we're like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not this perfect little cutout of a person that I was pretending to be throughout my whole life, and now I can finally do these things that I want to do. And people are like, whoa, okay, let's reel it back in here. Hold on, you're doing too much. It's like they want you to be individualistic enough they can tell you're a different person than the person standing next to you, but they don't want you to be your own person. That's something I've dealt with a lot in life. The shame for just wanting to be myself and express myself, and for not caring what other people think. It's this idea that I should care, that I should be concerned about what other people think. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to. Shame is also something I really feel being a woman. I feel a lot of shame for different things. If I choose to wear something that's low cut or short or whatever, people shame me for it, as if, I don't have the body that I have and that I am supposed to hide it. There's this idea that I'm supposed to just cover everything up. I agree with public decency, I'm not naked out there in the world, but oh my gosh, if I wear a V-neck, why are you freaking out? I just will never get that. I don't dress for you, I dress for me, and I'm not gonna feel shameful for, the way that I wanna act, which is why, when I hear other girls or people in general just putting people down, I'm like, how can you say that about somebody? This person has the confidence to wear what they wanna wear, and you're gonna tell them the way that they're dressing infers that they're promiscuous? And also, as if that's a bad thing. People also shame people for the amount of sexual partners you have, or lack thereof. It's like, oh my god. When did everybody become so involved in everybody else's business? Just let people live their lives. The amount of sexual partners I've had has no effect on you, at all, unless you're one of them, and you're not. So, as a woman, I can also feel shame when, a man starts to talk to me and I feel uncomfortable and don't want to talk to him, and then I choose not to talk to him, and then he gets really angry at me, and that's why I'm not talking to him and why I'm not being respectful. And the truth is, when somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, you do not owe them anything. You don't owe anybody anything. There's this idea that if somebody compliments you, you have to smile and stop and talk to them and say thank you a million times. No. Thanks, I guess. But if you're also yelling your compliment at me from the side of a car and your compliment is nice ass, no, I'm not gonna say thank you. I didn't ask for that. I definitely don't enjoy it, and I'm not gonna feel shame for wanting to not communicate with you. Shame is also something I feel for being a bisexual woman, for people who don't understand things. And that's a lot of where shame comes from, people not understanding how you can do something. And a lot of it is the fact that they're afraid because they don't think they could ever do that. Shame and confidence go really hand in hand, I think. If you have enough confidence and enough drive to be yourself and stand out and not care what other people think, people are going to be shocked by that and talk down about that because they don't know how to do that themselves. Which I'm not saying is the deal with being bisexual, I don't think people who shame me for being bisexual are bisexual or wish they could be bisexual and just know they couldn't. I don't think that. But being bisexual, I have people who are like, oh, couldn't you just pick a side? Or, this whole thing, or wanting to express pride for something that I have hidden about myself for so long, for fear of being shamed and for fear of people not understanding. And it became where I was living my life for other people and not for myself. And I never wanted to be that person who did that. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be like, hello, this is me. I like boys and girls, and if you don't like it, whatever. And it was such a freeing experience for me, and I think that's one of the last times I've ever been even worried about feeling shame, because when you tackle the own shame that you have inside, that other people make you feel like you should feel, that is the most beautiful thing in the world. Because there's a lot of internalized homophobia or like self-hatred, because people always, you know, there's this big talk about people shouldn't be gay and you start to believe that, and you think maybe there's something wrong with me, a cord was mixed up somewhere, or, you know, something got messed up. And no, you are perfect just the way you are. And it was the most beautiful thing to realize that. And for the people who don't understand it, you don't need to. I think that's one of my favorite things about being able to express myself. You don't have to get why I do it. You don't need to know the reason that I pierced my nose, or that I dyed my hair, or, you know, how I like girls and guys, or whatever it is. It's not for you to understand. It's for me. And no part of you living your life is it crucial for you to understand the way I live my life. And we can just be in this space where we coexist, and you do you, and I do me, and life is just this beautiful thing. I know this is kind of like a tangent. I like sitting down and just making videos and just talking. It's a great way for me to get all my feelings out about things. And I think maybe somewhere along the way I could help somebody. If you've ever felt shame for something, I want you to know that as long as you are not hurting yourself or anybody else, that shame is not justified, and that you are incredible and amazing and should be expressing yourself and doing the things that make you happy, again, as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else. And just know that I love you and I support you. And yeah, if you want to have a conversation about shame, you want to leave some comments down below, feel free. If it's something you don't want to talk about, that's fine too. Whatever it is that you would like to do with your power and control of shame is up to you. I'm choosing to vocalize it. You can choose to not. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, that was my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. It helps out my channel a lot. I would love to have you guys. I make new videos almost every single Saturday. Hope you guys have a great day, and I love you so much. Bye!